right. Welcome to our Fall 2022 Employers and Virtual Residents. And today we have Ogilvy. Very excited to welcome back two alumni today, and that is Lillian Tay, she's 2017 college, and Nesha Fogelman, who is 2021 college. And I'm also very excited to welcome Amy, Amy Carter. I think I got your name here. Did I get you right? Carton. Gotcha. There it is. So very excited to welcome Amy, who will be doing the presentation today for Ogilvy, and we're going to bake in some time for questions at the end. And please, Amy, over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Like Jackie said, my name is Amy Carton. I oversee the early talent development team here at Ogilvy. So I am responsible for leading all of our campus recruitment efforts, as well as both of our entry-level programs. So I'm guessing you want to learn more about Ogilvy. You likely want to know how you can land a job with us, what our programs are. We're going to cover all of that today. But before we even get started, I want to spend some time doing introductions. I'm super fortunate to be joined today by two Georgetown alum who know this landscape better than I do, better than most people do. So with that, let me just share my screen. I'll give some introductions, and then I'll ask Lillian and Nesha to answer a couple of questions before we dive in. Just bear with me. And while this is loading, I'll also mention, I want this to be interactive. I want this to be conversational. We will have time dedicated at the end for Q&A in the traditional sense, but if questions pop up, things you're curious about throughout the presentation, go ahead and drop them in the chat so we can just monitor and know how to best use our time together. Okay, can you see this? Okay, so Jackie did a great job of introducing us. I'm going to skip the who we are, and I'm just going to jump straight to Lillian and Nesha. Lillian and Nesha, I'm hoping you can just give us a quick rundown. What's your current role at Ogilvy? How long have you been at Ogilvy? And how did you find out about this place?
Yeah, so my name is Nesha Fogelman, and as Jackie mentioned, I was in your place not long ago. I graduated in 2021. Ever since graduating, I moved to New York, and I'm doing the associate rotation program that we will tell you so much more about very soon. At Ogilvy, so far I've worked within consulting for 6 months. Then I did brand planning and strategy for 6 months for IKEA. And now for the past few weeks, I started my last and third rotation in account management for the Department of Education. And actually in college, I had no idea what advertising was, had no idea what Ogilvy was totally not familiar with the industry. And one day I came to Jackie Banks, my senior fall, and I told her I'm lost, unemployed, and need help. And Jackie, who is Georgetown's career angel, sent me a link to an event that was actually happening the next day. An Ogilvy recruiting event. And this is an insanely full circle moment because Lillian Tay, who's here with us today, was presenting. So 2 years ago, I was listening to Lillian talk about how incredible this company is, how advertising is so fun and great, and that I should apply. It wasn't only about me, the whole group should apply. And so I did, and I'm here now. And so now I'm here with Lillian, and I feel like I made it in life, and this is wonderful. So I'm very excited to be here today, and I'll answer all questions later if anyone has any. And Lillian, my guru, my Ogilvy guru, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh gosh, you're too kind. And I started out at Ogilvy as an intern the summer of 2016, so my junior summer, before coming back full-time in 2017. I've been on the same team ever since, so I've been within PR and influence. I am now an account supervisor, but started out as an assistant account executive. I worked on a variety of different accounts since being at Ogilvy, but my current clients are Coca-Cola, Ford Motor Company, and the Los Cabos Tourism Board. So they kind of really run the gamut in terms of range. But I'm very excited to be here, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. One additional piece of background about me is that I was an international student at Georgetown, and so I kind of have that international experience and can answer any questions you may have around navigating that and when you're applying for jobs.
Love it. Thank you both. I too, like Nesha, started at Ogilvy in the associates program. So I was in a similar boat, didn't know where I wanted to land, kind of what came next for me. I majored in art history and kind of faced a crossroads my senior year. I too found out through my own career center about the opportunity at Ogilvy and have navigated a bunch of different roles since then. So by no means have I had one linear path to finding my way into the university relations sphere. I started in account management. Then I spent 3.5 years in strategy. And then one day an opportunity was presented to me to pivot into the university relations early talent sphere. So that's how I've gotten here. I've now been at Ogilvy for 5 years since I started in the associates program. So a lot of unique backgrounds. And I think that's the beauty of a place like Ogilvy is you will find as we go through this, there is not one traditional pathway. Some of you might be majoring in things like marketing or advertising, and that's fantastic. But those of you who aren't, know that there certainly can be a place for you in this organization. So Lillian, I know that you have to drop a little bit early. So I'm wondering if we could just stay with you for a couple of minutes and I'll stop sharing my screen so everyone can see you. Best advice for Georgetown students, how to navigate the application process, having gone through it yourself quite some time ago at this point, what would you encourage students to do throughout the application process?
I think my biggest piece of advice, and it may be a little cliche, is to just be authentic. I think making sure that you really tell your story and in a way that's really meaningful to you is the thing that matters the most. As you mentioned, we all come from different backgrounds, different majors, different cultures. And so I think it's to our advantage to showcase what makes us unique. And that's like what Ogilvy is looking for, because they're not looking for a specific kind of person or someone who comes from a certain walk of life or anything like that. And so that's my main advice.
What's been your favorite part about working at Ogilvy?
Again, it might be cliche, but truly it's the team. When I interned, I was primarily on the forward account, and then I kept in touch with them my senior year. And so when an opportunity arose where they had an opening on the team, the summer I was going to graduate, that's how I started back full time. And so I still work on the account to this day. And so I think those meaningful relationships that I built during my internship and then maintained throughout the years have kind of kept me here and kept me on the same team.
And if there's something that you didn't know about the world of advertising or marketing or about Ogilvy prior to joining, what would be that one helpful hint you could give students as they start to explore roles within the advertising industry?
I think it's just about being proactive, making sure that you set up time with people, even if you don't work with them, just to learn more about what they're working on. I think the one benefit of coming to a place like Ogilvy, an agency, is that you just have so many different resources at your fingertips, and it's always good to leverage that and to kind of build your network, even if it's outside of your day-to-day team or your client team.
Awesome. Thank you. Nesha, I will get to you. Don't you worry. We're going to have some time at the end to do a whole Q&A session. Anything else when it comes to the interview process, Lillian? Just making yourself stand out as a candidate when applying, when interviewing specifically?
I think if you're unfamiliar kind of with this industry and it's all very new to you, it helps me, at least when I was interviewing, to just reach out to other people on LinkedIn that you see work at the company, just to even get their experience and kind of get any tips that they might have. But just reaching out, I think, and connecting with as many people as you can is super helpful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to jump into the presentation. Guys, if anybody has any questions for Lillian while we still have her, she does have to drop a few minutes early. Drop them in the chat. Lillian, if you want to share your contact info, any other information, feel free to use the chat. But for now, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen because I want to tell you guys what we're all about at Ogilvy. So we're going to go through an abridged version of this. All of this information will be accessible to you following. You have the three of us here as resources. So should you have any other questions, want to learn more, I'll give you all the resources. But we're going to talk a little about the organization, our talent, because we would not be the company we are without the people who work here. The work itself, a little bit about our cultures. And then, like Nesha said, we will tell you all about our programs, how you can land a role at Ogilvy, and where we're looking to grow. And it starts with you. So Ogilvy, for those of you who might be familiar with a little show called Mad Men or just the history behind the advertising industry, I can tell you that Ogilvy is firmly cemented in that history. We are an organization that has been around for quite some time, and we are incredibly proud of our founder heritage. We lean on our founder history quite a lot at Ogilvy. So Ogilvy was founded back in 1948. So we went all the way from there to where we are today, but it all starts with the man, the myth, the legend, David Ogilvy. You will learn very quickly when getting immersed in Ogilvy culture that it always kicks off with a David Ogilvy quote, because he was a cool guy and he was really inspirational. He quite literally wrote the guidebook and the handbook for how to succeed in the world of advertising. So David Ogilvy once said that when people aren't having fun, they seldom produce good advertising. It starts with fun. It starts with the people. Immersing yourself and surrounding yourself with a culture of people is really important. But beyond that, David Ogilvy was an interesting man. So he actually is a man who wore many hats. So to our point and to Lillian's point earlier, be authentic, be yourself, be proud of representing your values, your background, your experiences. David Ogilvy was not your traditional advertising man. He was once a chef. He was once a Gallup salesman. He even worked on an Amish farm for a bit in his life. All very different experiences that gave him a worldly perspective that all came together to inform the agency that he created, Ogilvy and Mather. I mention that because that legacy has stayed with us since 1948 of we are looking to build the most well-rounded organization of unique perspectives, of cool experiences, cool ideas, creative strategic thinkers. It does not take one shape or form, I can promise you that. It all comes down to the work we do because we are in the industry of serving our clients. We are the intermediate. We are the ones who do the creativity. We are the strategic thinkers who create the outputs that our clients put out into the world. So let's just take a look at some of the work. Oh, I'm going to have to probably stop sharing and reshare some of my audio shares. So give me 1 second. And I hope that you enjoy this video. Can you hear the sound?
It's with great pleasure that I announce our partnership.
We are obviously very proud to have such a variety of clients, and the work, it spans the spectrum, right? From the most trivial, even somewhat disgusting and grotesque, to the most awe-inspiring work. And I think that having representation across each verticals, we have varying industries, right? We are tapped in, and the industries that we're not yet tapped into, I can guarantee you our new business team is on the hunt to secure those new clients and those new partnerships. So I think that there is something for everyone here, and finding those passion points was something that personally drew me to Ogilvy, just looking at the variety of work that we have in-house. So my clicker's not working, actually. So how do we operate as an organization, right? We have all those amazing clients. How does it actually come to life? And I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, because I'll tell you every organization has different structures, and the way in which we name our departments might look different than other advertising agencies. But at the highest level, Ogilvy boils down into 5 what we call business units. They are the key driving factors, the key buckets in which our entire organization aligns to. So those 5 business units are health, advertising, experience, growth and innovation, and public relations. You might think of Ogilvy and say, oh, it's just a traditional advertising agency. Within that, you might not actually know that we have an entire PR arm. We are building out an influence arm. We have our own consultancy firm that was just named one of the top consultancies amongst Forbes, right? These are things that when you look at advertising at face value, you might not know what's going on within. The commonality and the theme amongst all of our business units, as you can see on the left-hand side, is we are in a growth mindset. We are looking to grow on behalf of not only our organization, but our clients and society at large. We're looking to grow the impact that brands can have on the consumer. None of that would be possible without our talent. So I want you to hear just from some of our colleagues to hear what their experience has been like at Ogilvy.
Hi, my name is Emily Clark.
I'm Gail Fischel.
I am an account executive,
Senior Director of Media Operations.
I am in the Ogilvy Associates program.
I'm currently in a rotation with strategy as a brand planner.
I'm a creative project manager.
I'm a content strategist.
I've been at Ogilvy for over 5 years.
A little over a year.
For 7 years.
For over 10 years. I can't believe it. It went by in a total blink.
My team is the most important part of my day. They're people who I love to work with.
Some of the most intelligent and driven and exciting people to work with.
They are continuing to push me. They continue to support me and encourage me.
You know, they mean a lot, whether we're sending memes to each other, we're having each other's back in a client meeting, or we're just bouncing ideas off one another.
A great team comes down to respect for one another and also taking responsibilities.
I have learned so much.
You really can make your own path at Ogilvy if you are passionate about something.
They push me to think outside the box.
I think Ogilvy has a great network of connections and resources, and it is up to you to find the right opportunity to expand and grow.
The young people coming up and their belief in what kind of change our work needs.
I'm excited about our talent, finding individuals and their superpowers.
Equipping all of you, our people, with the learning agility to help us stay ahead.
And of course, very selfishly, I would love to work on something that's firmly cemented in cultural folklore and remembered for years to come.
I'm just getting started, and I can't think of a better place to start than this. I can't even imagine where I'm going to end up, and it's really exciting.
So let's take a little bit of a closer look at, where actually you can end up physically, geographically. We are a global organization. So that is priority number one, is we really are global, and that untaps so much potential for collaboration. I think no greater has that collaboration been seen than over the last couple of years as we navigate this new post-COVID, still in the middle of COVID world, right? It's ambiguous, but I think it opens doors for creativity and collaboration like never before. So we're located across the globe, 83 countries, several offices. Our footing within North America is as follows. So you'll see a couple of things on this diagram. You'll see Ogilvy proprietary sites, right? You'll see Ogilvy, New York, DC, Health, Chicago, Denver. But then you also see some names that aren't tied specifically to Ogilvy. Those are our specialty business companies. So they exist under the Ogilvy umbrella, but they're not Ogilvy proprietary. So each of those smaller agencies comes together as part of the larger Ogilvy family, but with unique specialties. We also then roll up into our parent company, WPP. We can go through a lot more information on that, but for the sake of time, I want to just leave it there to say we do level up. And there are teams within Ogilvy, there are clients that work not only on an Ogilvy basis, but in collaboration with other WPP agencies. So while one might think that we compete against every agency that exists out there, you'd be surprised. We actually do work together more times than not. At the end of that first, sizzle reel with all the work, you will have seen these three pillars, which we have established as our kind of brand ethos, our truths and our core values. Do the right thing, do the best work of our lives, and do it together. They might seem really simple, but I think there's power in simplicity because it really does enable us to lean on that founder history, lean on these core values, which influence not only the people that we hire, but the work that we do, the new business relationships that we secure. And you might be wondering, why are there those dots between do? It's because do also goes back to our founder, David Ogilvy. Those are his initials, which, whoa, mind blown. I know you'll probably be surprised to see that, but really, I can't stress enough how often we relay back to our founder history. David Ogilvy set the groundwork, set the framework, and we do try and embed that into everything that we do. So a little bit on our culture, and I'm not gonna show you all of these videos. If you're interested in taking a look at our office spaces, I highly encourage you to check out our Instagram, Ogilvy Early Careers. It'll give you a glimpse into what's going on in our lives. What is our early talent up to? Could you envision yourself working in one of these offices? We celebrate, this new flexible hybrid working world. And I'll tell you, we're still figuring it out. So I can anticipate questions coming on what does that look like? And I can tell you right now, we're launching an initiative that is looking to bring our people back into the office a couple of days a week, but with purpose and intent behind it. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But I just wanted to shamelessly plug our Instagram first and foremost. And secondly, tell you that there is a lot going on behind the scenes when it comes to culture. We are prioritizing culture both in person, in the workday, and outside as well. I think one of the coolest things about our agency is the relationships that we build inside of the office are genuine. Our employees really enjoy spending time with one another outside of work too, which might seem surprising to some of you. It certainly was surprising to me, but there's a good balance. So on that top line, you'll just see interactions and seeing our employees come together, building relationships, whether it's through, corporate sponsored events or just, casual get-togethers. The bottom are a couple of examples of how we're prioritizing our people and initiatives that are happening in-house, powered by our people experience team, whether that is our Ogilvy communities, which you might know as professional networks, employee resource groups. There are opportunities for communities to come together, whether you identify as a member of that community or you're just an ally or want to learn more or get involved. They're open to all employees. We also, over the last couple of years, have really stepped up our commitments and prioritization of mental health. That comes to life through things like partnerships with Calm. I now have a personal premium subscription of Calm that was given to me by Ogilvy. I would be lost without my sleep stories at night. Let me tell you, it is my calming moment in the day. So it's really good to know that an organization as large as Ogilvy can back you and help to prioritize your well-being outside of working hours. Something that I know I certainly appreciate. Learning and development. I think this is probably the most relevant for you all getting ready to start out your careers. Maybe you know exactly what it is you want to do. Maybe you don't. Ogilvy is known in the industry as a teaching hospital. We have a reputation of really crafting and building careers within us, and it starts with learning and development. We are committed to helping you grow as a professional, whether that's through one of our structured programs or just as an entry-level employee. There are a ton of tools and resources at your disposal, ranging from personal and professional growth essentials to developing relationships with HR people partners, D&I essentials, right? There is a commitment there that we are looking to explore. Just yesterday, I refreshed my unconscious bias training. So really looking to continue to educate and train our people so that they can be the best versions of themselves, both personally and professionally. Let's talk about our programs. This should not take very long, and then I'm going to stop and answer any questions, and Nesha's going to join me, and we're just going to do a Q&A panel. So I'm guessing that many of you are either looking for a role, looking to get your foot into the advertising industry in some shape or form. So I want to preface this by saying that we're going to talk about 2 programs right now. These are not your only avenues into Ogilvy, into the world of advertising. They are just a little bit more structured in terms of timeline. So if you're someone who likes clear-cut information, this is probably going to be right up your alley. You, of course, can look at other open roles. And I encourage that. I encourage you to check out all that we have to offer. So just take this with a grain of salt. We will be focusing on the early careers programs right now, but happy to speak to other open roles as well. So those 2 programs are going to be the traditional summer internship and the associates program. Let's start with the summer internship. Our internship at the moment is offered in 5 locations: Chicago, DC, Denver, Los Angeles, and New York City. Just a representation over the last couple of years. Our interns have a really good time together. It's a fully immersive, hands-on experience where you get exposure, whether you're in person, whether you're virtual. We've done it all over the last couple of years, so we're excited to bring this back in a hybrid model again this summer. Our internship is a traditional 10-week program. So running from June to August, you would, as an intern, be placed on one team for the duration of those 10 weeks. This year, we're streamlining it a little bit. So you actually are going to apply to one track when you apply to be an intern. You can apply towards the general business-focused roles, which include things like account management, strategy, consulting, media, right? The more business-oriented roles that don't require the technical creative skill sets. On the flip side, if you're someone who loves Adobe Suite, is ready to be an art director, loves graphic design, you'd want to apply to our creative focused roles. The experience once you step foot in Ogilvy's doors is consistent. The only difference is a couple of nuances in the application process. As you might imagine, creative focused roles, we're going to be looking for a sample of your work. We want to see those technical skills applied, versus our business focused roles, we'll have a couple of short response prompts on the application. Like I said, once you are accepted into Ogilvy's internship program, it does not matter what track you are on, the experience will be consistent for those 10 weeks. So baked into the program is a bi-weekly training series where we are going to pull you out of your day-to-day responsibilities, pull you from that team, allow you to get exposure. If you're placed on account management, I still want to ensure that when you leave Ogilvy's doors, you have a good understanding of what consulting does, of what media does, what the influencer shop does. We will give you that well-rounded exposure, not only to our different departments and crafts, but also our senior leaders. We have the support and sponsorship of some of our most senior leaders who really are invested in talent. Did I lose you?
No. We hear you.
Okay, great. My computer just got forced into an update, but I still have you.
You got this.
As long as you can see me, although I don't have any control over sharing the screen any longer. Okay, bear with me.
We can see you and hear you, Amy. Your choice about what you want to do with the screen.
Okay, let's see. If I switch to the next slide, can you still see that?
No, it's still a 10-week program. Oh, no, we can. Associates program. You're good.
Okay, great. I have no visibility into you all, but that is okay. So just one final note on the summer internship. Eligibility requirements for those different tracks might vary. So if you are applying to one of the more business-oriented tracks, we're going to ask that you are a current undergraduate, junior, or senior in order to apply. And if you are applying for the creative track, you'll have a little bit more flexibility. That track will be open to juniors, seniors, recent graduates, graduate students, again, just given the complexities and nuances of those roles. Moving on to the associates program. This is a program that both Nesha and I can talk personally about our experiences in. And the only difference in terms of location, everyone, is that the associates program is only offered currently in 4 cities. So Los Angeles is not an offering for the associates program at this time. So if you want to be an associate, you're looking at New York, Chicago, DC, Denver. When it comes time to apply to this program, you have the ability to apply to multiple locations or to apply to one. I can tell you that applying to multiple will not increase your chances of getting into the program. So really think thoughtfully and intentionally about where you would want to work and live. Again, just some photos of associates of years past. A little bit more information on the associates program. Our associates program is an 18-month rotational program, really designed for individuals who are looking to get involved in the marketing and advertising industry, but might not know exactly where you want to land. I talked a little bit at the upfront about my own experience. You heard Nesha talk about hers as well. So if you think that this is an industry for you, but you don't know where you want to land, I'd encourage you to check out the program. Over the course of those 18 months, you will complete 3 6-month rotations where you will get exposure across industries. Nesha mentioned that she completed her first rotation in consulting, then moved into strategy, brand planning, and now is in an account management role. That is the design of the program, where it is geared to really give you the most exposure and maximize your learnings over the course of those 18 months. On the learning and development side, you will see that there's a lot of consistencies with the summer internship. You will work closely with the program management team, which is myself and my colleagues, to set goals, to have recurring check-ins where you will receive feedback, you will track progress and really grow as a professional. The key difference here with the learning and development is, rather than pulling our associates for bi-weekly learnings, we actually host dedicated development weeks where in between rotations, I'm going to take you away and we're going to strip any client responsibilities and give you an uninterrupted space to focus on your professional development. The content and the curriculum of those development weeks is actually entirely dependent on the needs and the interests of both the associates and feedback that we hear from their managers. It could be anything from technical skills to softer skills trainings. When it comes to mentorship, I found this on the web. When it comes to mentorship and executive sponsorship and also building community is the strongest part. I think it's one of the selling points of our associates class, in that you come into Ogilvy with a built-in support system around you. All of your associates come in, start on the same day. You're never going to be working on the same team with the same manager at any given time. Therefore, we strip and eliminate any sort of competition from the program. It is a built-in community and networking opportunity. And I can say firsthand that it's a community that lasts a long time. And I definitely built some great friends throughout the process. We do have an executive sponsor of the associates program. So she is a member of our senior leadership team who is invested in the success not only of the program, but the individuals. I check in with her frequently on behalf of the associates. She does come and spend time, get to know some of those individuals, and she has a hand in helping to ensure that the program runs smoothly and has the buy-in from our most senior executives. Are you still with me? Can you see the new slide?
We can't see the new slide, but we can hear you. We're on the associates program slide.
Okay, it didn't change?
No, but it's fine. You said everything perfectly. We heard you.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is application timelines. And I wish that you could see my screen, but I will send this over afterwards, and I will send you all the documents, all the calendar views, I promise. So we are gearing up to launch the associates program application in just a few days. Applications for the 2023 associates program will open on Tuesday, November 8th. That application will remain open until January 16th. Whether you choose to apply on November 8th or January 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're not going to be reviewing those applications on a rolling basis. So just make sure that your application is submitted and complete by the deadline in order to be considered for the program. You must be a current undergraduate senior to qualify for the associates program. It is a program designed for recent graduates. If you're a current junior, unfortunately, now's not the time for the associates program. Same goes if you're a master's student, you're pursuing a graduate degree. We really are just looking for those undergraduate seniors at the moment. In order to apply, you will need to submit a copy of a resume along with answers to 2 creative writing prompts. They will be visible on the application page that goes live on Tuesday. Make sure you adhere to the guidelines there. Make sure you pay attention to word limits and make sure all of your requirements are in there. I can't tell you the number of times that an applicant will just miss an essential piece of information and therefore be ineligible for the program. Pay attention. Attention to detail is incredibly critical in the professional sphere, so might as well start when you're applying to roles. The summer internship, I want to talk a little bit about those dates because this will look a little bit different. The summer internship applications are set to open on December 7th. That is both for the general track and the creative track. Applications will open on the same day. The only nuance is their close date. So the applications for the general internship track are set to close on January 23rd versus the creative track will be open through the end of the month, set to close on January 31st. Again, there are eligibility variations depending on which track you choose to apply to. You can apply to both tracks. You can also apply to both the internship and the associates program. What would happen then is we would just have a conversation as we go through the review process to figure out which is the right fit for you. I'm going to attempt to stop sharing my screen, although it doesn't seem to want to do that. Did it stop sharing?
It did, yes.
Okay. I know I just threw a lot of information at you. And again, I will get this in written form for you. I know personally, I'm a very visual learner, so having information thrown at me auditory is not my ideal situation. What I want to do now is pause and just answer any questions. So Nesha, if you can help me just monitor any questions. I can't see you. I can't see the chat. I don't see anything other than a black screen right now. So just help me out and happy to answer any questions you all have.
And Amy and Nesha, I'm going to stop the recording at the moment so people can take themselves off video. Thank you so much. For those of you who joined in the recording, hope you gained a lot of knowledge, and we will shoot you over the slides at a later date.